As a Magic fan, I gotta admit, I'm pretty tired. The whole getting 10 sets a year plus a million secret layers and all the events going on is a bit overwhelming. I can only imagine what it feels like to someone who doesn't have a YouTube channel and choose to follow this with every waking moment of every single day. But it is 2024, and I don't want to just be dismissive, so it's time to ask the question: is the crazy release cycle that we experience with Magic the Gathering a necessary evil, or can this be tamed just a little bit? One thing I'm not going to do today is just be hypercritical for the sake of being hypercritical. Heck, if you've been around this channel for a while, you know that's not me. And if you've been around the channel and you haven't hit the sub button yet, make sure you click subscribe. But the Magic rapid release cycle, as I like to call it, or the whole idea of getting, 10 to 11 sets per year, plus secret layers, a new set almost every single month of the calendar year, does get to be overwhelming. But it's not just overwhelming on us Magic fans. I think there are real repercussions to this strategy in our community. So I want to explore some of those today, and I want to look at the flip side of the coin and realize it is 2024. We live in the world of daily news and constant in-your-face stimulation. So I do want to ask the question, is something like this necessary for Magic the Gathering, or is it all just fluff? But to begin, I really want to talk about some of the ramifications of this rapid release cycle and the way that they've chosen to do it. The way Wizards of the Coast is giving us Magic the Gathering products might be a bit of the problem as well. It's not that we're just getting a Magic product every single month for the calendar year. No, we're getting a massive variety of Magic products all year long, and frankly, it's hard to know what's what as it arrives on our favorite game store shelves. Now, for those of us extremely plugged in, which I'm assuming most people who watch Magic content on YouTube, hi, that's where we are right now, are probably more plugged in than the average consumer, but let's take ourselves out of these shoes right now and just realize that for the average fan, this is a little bit much. The variety of products being, you can have a standard release, which is supposed to be your base level Magic the Gathering product that's legal in a couple formats that you can play in Commander. It's going to have a cheaper box than the other releases of the year, but it's probably not going to have the product or reprint equity or whatever you want to call it, the value of the cards in there. There's going to be some new design and some things we've never seen, which I actually think is pretty cool, but I digress. You go up from there into maybe these sub-premium releases and then onto premium releases. Boxes costing $200, $300, even $400 to $500 a booster box. And often those releases are themed around a single way to play Magic the Gathering. Modern, remastered limited sets, draft, and yes, Commander. These products range in price from slightly more expensive than your standard releases to, oh my god, this is a $500 booster box. And looking at things like Commander Masters, some of them don't really have an affordable point of entry. You want to get on the product? Well, you're going to have to cough up a pretty penny. Now, this concept of regular releases and premium or expensive releases in a bubble probably could work just fine. But when you're getting something Magic the Gathering related thrown in your face every single month of the year with secret layers on top and premium hidden things, it gets to be a little bit much, in my opinion. I do believe we could do with a change to this pace, maybe in the pace of pricing, with some things being so insanely expensive. If we're going to continue to give us stuff every single year, maybe make it a little more cost effective, or maybe just give us less products per year. But there is a benefit to the changing in price for stuff like this. And I know I'm going to talk about a benefit to expensive products here. So if this is going to annoy you, be ready to let me know in the comments section below. But some of these expensive products give people who attack Magic the Gathering from this, I want the shiniest, blingiest, most expensive thing imaginable, a way to approach the game. And I know that's weird. Actually, I'm going to do a whole video on the channel about collectability being pumped by premium and more expensive boxes in modern Magic the Gathering that I think is extremely interesting. So make sure you have the notifications turned on if you're into something like that. But for now, I just want to say that Magic is a diverse ecosystem, and while a lot of us like cheaper product. We like being able to get things affordably. There are some people that like the idea of buying premium product. I'm not saying one is right and one is wrong. We should just accept that the other side of that community exists out there and they are going to buy into Magic. So it is something that satisfies them. But overwhelmingly, the majority of us out there just really get taxed by this and feel a lot of pressure to continue to engage with the game that we love so very much. And like we said, it's not just about price. It's about the fact that we're getting something every single week. And because of that, I do feel like this world we live in, this Magic the Gathering Commander universe that we get to exist in, is just so saturated with new things and shininess and try this and experience this and give us your money here, that we don't really get to fall in love with the product anymore. We don't get to have these experiences over a significant amount of time that pull us back into the world of Magic the Gathering, into the ecosystem of playing with our friends and experiencing a new set in ways that, well, in 2024, we just don't have the time to do. So all in all, this, in my opinion, is Magic's biggest problem, finding balance here to exist in the modern day while giving us enough products to keep our attention constantly enough and not overwhelming us. And I say that because it's not all bad news, and I think it's important that we recognize that. I'm not a fan of the rapid release cycle to this point. And furthermore, I guess on the flip side of that, I don't just like the sorcerer release panel where it's like, hey, it's one set per year and that's what you get and you'll deal with it. I think there's probably a sweet spot somewhere in the middle. I know it's the worst take you can have on the internet, is it's not one extreme, it's not the other extreme, it's probably likely a moderation of somewhere in the middle. Nobody ever likes that answer, but in truth, I do believe that is the case with Magic the Gathering. I think we can probably find that sweet spot. But the rapid release cycle exists for a reason, and the only reason isn't just that Wizards of the Coast is greedy and they hate you and want you to waste all of your money. Yes, they are a company. Yes, they want you to spend as much as they can convince you to spend on Magic the Gathering product, but there are other benefits as well. When you look at a community like Magic, something so diverse, something so massive, with fans and people that attack the game from so many different angles, players, collectors, just evil investor bros, Commander, Standard, Modern. Standard, by the way, the most played format in Magic the Gathering in paper right now that isn't Commander. I had no idea. The most played format other than Commander, according to Wizards of the Coast. I had no idea. But all in all, you have so many people attacking the game, it's hard to satisfy that many angles of appreciation for a card game with just 3 to 4 releases. It's understandable that Wizards of the Coast said, hey, we need to do something to pander to a lot of these communities every time per year, or risk losing portions of these communities to other TCGs, or more likely just other hobbies. We said it's 2024 a million times. Video games are a thing. You can play them on your phone, in your pocket. People are not playing TCGs as much as they used to. But it's also more than that. Even though we have this wide, diverse community that attacks the game in many ways, the rapid release cycle does quite a bit to, well, let's just call it what it is, cover up the stench of bad releases. Let's look back at a year like 2023, where we had a couple, well, let's just call them releases that weren't so great. It was almost always never an issue, because right around the corner we had something brand new to be excited about. So just like we don't have the opportunity to fall in love with a product and really sink our teeth in and get to know something and hold on over the duration, we don't have the ability to sit on a bad product or a bad release and be stuck with it for a large amount of time. We get the joy of, oh man, Karlov Manor, not that great. Well, guess what? Fallout came out the next month and was an absolute banger and everybody loved it. So we got to kind of put our behinds in the past and move on, if you will. Shout out to my Lorcana viewers. And this, all in all, is probably a good thing in 2024, with channels like this one constantly covering the news and people being more vocal than ever and more able to just turn off of a hobby and turn to something else, somewhere else to spend their time and spend their energy. It's important to keep people from having to sit on something stagnant and something bad for an extended period of time. So these are some benefits of the rapid release cycle. You get something for everybody, don't have to sit on stinker products, but in my opinion, I think we could find some moderation, still have a bit of those benefits, and satisfy people like me, ingrained Magic the Gathering fans, that probably feel the least heard out of everybody. You have Universes Beyond bringing in new people or satisfying people who like these IPs and giving them ways to play their favorite Lord of the Rings, Fallout, Doctor Who characters in their Magic the Gathering game, and you have the premium collectors and investors trying to find their avenue, but entrenched Magic fans that just want their sets to come out and go to draft and maybe play some Pioneer, Modern, Standard, something that isn't Commander. Well, those fans are left a little bit wanting right now. And in fairness, we're going to stick around anyway, so it kind of makes sense why we are the least catered to. Listen, we're just gonna be here. All in all, I think this is a major reason for the majority of our complaints. I could see a future where this continues to be a problem because of those benefits we just discussed with the rapid release cycle, and it's something that I think is important that fans like us, every once in a while, we take a step back and we realize, hey, this is going to be a thing. Don't overwhelm ourselves. Try to find areas of Magic that we love. Try to find avenues to stick to something for a longer period of time and really get to know a product and sink your teeth in, kind of like the good old days. And embrace the words of the CEO that wants to sell you a bunch of product but apparently doesn't when they say you only have to buy the products that interest you. I am slowly letting go of the pressure. I used to collect a box or so, and even more, from every single Magic release, and I have slowly let go of that need. You guys know on the channel, I'm not the biggest Commander player in the world. I like the precons, I like to sleeve them up and have them around for friends, but other than that, I don't really collect as much Commander stuff. I let things go that don't interest me, and I really choose to sink my teeth into and double down on the things that I love about this game. So I really think this is the biggest issue in our community. I think there are pros, I think there are cons. I don't expect it to change. I think it's something we're going to have to live with, and for fans like me, I think it's important to remember, while this might be overwhelming, while it might be a bit crazy, there are ways to live with it, and I can make changes to say, hey, I can still love my game even though things are going on that I definitely don't agree with. So I hope you guys had some fun today. I hope you enjoyed kind of a more off-the-cuff conversation like this. If you did, make sure you share this video on any kind of social media page. I've asked you to subscribe because like 80% of the people that watch this channel aren't subscribed, so make sure you hit that button. Thank you so much for hanging out. Until next time, you guys know me. My name is Josh, and we will see you around. All right, goodbye.